I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Cape Town TV, just to give you a bit of background information, and then I'll address myself to the actual question which I've been asked to talk about today, which is how really Cape Town television can contribute towards Cape Town as a design city. Cape Town TV launched in September 2006. We're a local non-profit community TV station. We've been on air for 6 months already, and it's been a real roller coaster ride. Setting up a TV station with very low budget has been quite a learning curve and a real challenge, but also a very exciting opportunity. And what we've really been able to show is that television is something that anybody can do. You know, I think for most people, television is seen as this unattainable, inaccessible, national, top-down mass broadcaster. It's this huge bureaucracy, and I think there's a general sense from a lot of the people, the content providers, the artists, the creative community in Cape Town, that the SABC and other mainstream broadcasters don't really reflect Cape Town's identity, Cape Town's voices, Cape Town's talent. And there's a massive hunger out there for a channel that creates and provides a space for free expression in a place like Cape Town. And we've been completely overwhelmed by the response. We literally have not 1 cent to pay for content, and that's normally the biggest cost associated with running a community TV station. And we've been utterly overwhelmed at just how much content is out there. We are already broadcasting for 24 hours a day, which is quite remarkable considering the fact that we've got like a zero content budget. People come in, they find us, the word is traveling by word of mouth throughout the Cape Town community, and people rock up at our offices all day, every day, with the most unbelievable content. And this is content that hasn't been produced for the public broadcaster, because obviously they have to have the rights, they have to own the content. And we're talking about everything from obscure video art to design, to music videos, to rough community-generated content, stuff that's been shot by kids, a lot of activist-orientated stuff, garage bands, stuff that's been downloaded off the internet that's proving to be incredibly popular programming. And so it's really just this thing that's kind of almost like bubbled up from the surface, from the ground level. It's been a very organic kind of process of developing this community television station. And people are now starting to produce content for Cape Town TV. So just last night I was at a dinner at a film club, and there were 10 emerging filmmakers there, people who had never made films in their lives before. And they were all just coming up with ideas for programs, and they're pooling their equipment, they're sharing their cameras and edit suites and working on each other's films, and are coming up with an incredible variety and range of really innovative and experimental programs that are destined for the channel. I think just going back to the topic of this talk, I think what makes community television different from other broadcasters is that we really encourage active community participation in the creation of content. I think YouTube and those kind of channels have popularized this notion of community-generated content. But I think we've never really seen how that can potentially be applied to a broadcaster. And I think the reality is that we only have 12% internet penetration in this country. So for the vast majority of people, they don't have access to the wealth of creative material that is now available on the internet. So one of the things that we're trying to do at CTV is to, in fact, download content from the internet, obviously stuff that we have the rights to, and then to rebroadcast it on Cape Town TV. And that's actually been some of our most successful programming. Those are the calls that we get every day, is like the stuff they saw on the internet the night before. And the real challenge for us is not just to download content from the north and from other countries, but really to start getting people to start generating local content so that we can really start fostering and creating a space for creative expression in the Cape Town community. And I think in particular CTV, as much as we're a station that's targeting a wide diversity of people who live in Cape Town, and we want to reflect and showcase all the people who live in Cape Town. We do have a particular focus on marginalized communities and people who do not have access to the means of communication, who've been traditionally marginalized. And therein, I really think lies, from what I've seen in the last 6 months, I think therein lies an absolute untapped wealth of creative talent that is yet to really find its way into any popular mediums in South Africa. And we're seeing incredible stuff. And we're very youth orientated. And I think what's very important as well is that a medium like community television really gives people an opportunity to find their own visual language and their own ways of expressing themselves. We don't prescribe what we want from people. We do, to a certain extent, give guidelines, and we call for proposals and all that kind of thing. But I think what's really working for us, normally, like, for example, the way the SABC would work is that they would put out briefs, and then you have to write proposals, and it's very prescriptive, it's very contained, and you have to fit into a certain kind of prescribed agenda. Whereas at Cape Town TV, we just say, send us your proposals. Yeah, so, we're finding that people have just got the freedom to come up with the most amazing ideas. And as I said, we went to this movie club last night and we started brainstorming ideas for cooking shows on Cape Town TV, and somebody came up with a fashion show on Cape Town TV. And in fact, last night we made a film. We made a feature film. That's the other thing that people don't realize. People think they put up these enormous obstacles to making movies, for example. Last night we just had one camera and we had 3 tapes, and for the cost of 3 tapes, in fact we only used 2, so for like $60 we made a feature film. And it was that simple. It involved a bit of cooking, people sitting around chatting, people performing, dancing. We had like a little mini studio set up in the toilet, with a great view of the city in the background, and everyone had 5 minutes, pretty much like what's going on here. Everyone had 5 minutes to do their thing in the toilet. And you can't believe the stuff that came out of this program. And it just goes to show, just how easy it is to, if you demystify the medium and you give people access to the means to express themselves, that people have got that. I mean, some people were incredibly shy last night. They really didn't want to do this. They didn't know what to say. But once we got those people into that toilet, something came out of them that they didn't even know was there. And everyone was a star. And they were themselves. And I think that for me was very exciting. So look, I mean, basically, Cape Town TV is your channel. It belongs to the citizens of Cape Town. And we are inviting the citizens of Cape Town to really use this channel in whatever way they can, and to come out of their shells and to express themselves, and to not think that they can't do it, and not to put, people tend to put obstacles in the way of making movies, like, oh, they need R1 million budget, or they need all this equipment, or whatever the case may be. And I think what we're really trying to do is encourage people just to take this opportunity and to run with it. Even if you only have access to a cell phone, you can make a little short film on a cell phone. You don't need to have, the biggest and the best of all the equipment. And that's what we're trying to do, is to create an incredibly accessible medium that people can just start interacting with, sending stuff to. And hopefully out of that, some people will probably just play and experiment with the medium, but I think what we might find coming out of that really is an opportunity for Cape Town, if it's possible to homogenize what we mean by Cape Town, but for people to essentially find their own voice and to find their own ways of communicating and expressing themselves. And I think that it's still very much at its infancy, and I think what we need is spaces where people can feel free to play with that idea and to design and to create and get their stuff out there. And I'm not quite sure that there are enough vehicles. I think CTV is certainly one of those vehicles, but I think we definitely need more of them.